Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Two Jiujiteiras. I'm Babs, and today I have a lovely special guest, Tara Daye Blackmore, owner and operator of Clover's Training and Nutrition, as well as the Train for Life fitness app. My apologies. Welcome to the show, Tara.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it was so lovely to reconnect with you. I just with Tara is a personal trainer. I've worked with her many years ago and just full of life and energy. So, you'd like to tell everyone you're basically what you do and why you do it.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Well, I am a personal trainer. I've been a trainer for approximately 15 years. Before that, I had a very different career path. I did go to university. I started in the field of biology. The very start of my second year, I got very sick and I had to be over a month in a hospital. It didn't work out going back to school, and found myself having to work to pay bills after that. So I got into the restaurant field. I was in the restaurant field for about 8.5 years. And after that, I was ready to be finished with the restaurant field, very hard labor. And I actually had an injury. So I had to go off of work for that. And about within the month of having my injury, my father passed away. And then about 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. So there was a big roller coaster of events that happened.
Wow.
And so I knew right away when I was pregnant that it was going to be a boy. He was going to have, my dad would live on through him. He has his name. Of course, it was a boy. And so my life changed from then. I stayed home for 3 years with my son. And I went through a very hard period of postpartum depression and anxiety. And it was so bad. Um, it was to the point that, I didn't go outside for days. I wouldn't get dressed for days, even wash my hair. The phone would ring and I would literally like cry because I didn't even want to know who would be on the other end. Most times it was somebody I care about and I didn't have to be, but it was so bad. I was at the point where, my husband now, at the time, was threatening to, leave with my son. It was just a bad situation. So I had to get help. It was very lost. Of course, I went and sought medical help. My doctor was great. Um, he gave me some tools and some paths to follow to help my mental health, and did prescribe a medication. Um, I used all the tools. I went to some mental health seminars and counseling, and they really helped, focus the mind. Although the drugs I didn't like. So they made me feel all sketchy, and I didn't like that. Um, so it was enough help to start the path, but not enough to completely help me. So I literally went online. This was when Facebook was like just coming out. That's how old I am. Shh. So
We're in the same club.
right, yeah, totally. So I literally went on Google and I searched natural ways to fight anxiety and depression, and the first thing that came up was exercise. So I went, okay, I guess I'm going to join a gym. And I had never exercised. I was not one for sports. The most exercising I did was I enjoyed badminton in gym class, and I would bike down to see my friends because that was the only transportation I had to get anywhere. So I was not a physical person whatsoever, but I was so desperate to, get better and help my family that I joined an all women's Good Life at the time.
Oh,
And
cool.
I went in, got a quick little demo, and started playing around and immediately found mental relief. Immediately. And I kept going despite the fact that I didn't want to be there, didn't want to look anybody in the eye when I was there. It was horrible. But I kept going and I felt better and better and better. And I remember one day I was sitting on the leg extension machine and it was facing the classroom that they had at the time. And I was watching this woman at the front of the classroom, and she was strong and confident and leading this room full of like 30 something number of people. And I just thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be her. I want to look like that and feel like I could be confident enough to lead people. Because right now I can't even look one person in the eye. Right. And so that's what I did. I went and I got certified within the next month. I got my personal trainer, my fitness instructor, fitness kickboxing within that first summer. And I was fortunate enough to have a lovely gym in Hampton hire me, take me under their wings, nurture me. They were there with me for the first, I would say, 11, 12 years of my fitness career. Even though I was in and out of other gyms, they were always there. Lifestyles Health and Fitness in Hampton. Jennifer Gendron is the owner. So big shout out to Jennifer. She helped launch my career and build my reputation to what I am now. So 15 years later, here we are. And I'm helping other people do the same. And I love doing that every day.
That's amazing. And you have quite the resume. Like, I just, it's amazing how, because postpartum depression affects so many women. And, even just aside from that anxiety and just mental health issues, like the world is just, there are so many people suffering. And it's just amazing to see how you were able to reach and get those supports and, build yourself to a place where you found your passion.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful for it. I mean, I'm alive today because of exercise and fitness. Not to say it happened overnight. It was a hard journey, but yeah, I definitely found my calling. And I think part of what helps me stay where I am now is to be able to help other people get past those roadblocks and see their progressions and their journeys and their wins, and that helps me keep my happy. It fills my cup every day. I absolutely love it. Um, but there are, it's hard to talk about. People don't like to talk about it. As soon as you say, I'm feeling depressed, you feel like you're stating to the world that I'm weak, I'm worthless, all those things that you don't want to feel at the time, you feel like you're shouting out. It's very hard to talk about. So I was thankful I had good support. My husband was amazing. He stuck with me through the whole journey. And now my child that I had at the time, he is 18 years old and just finished his first year in college,
Oh, wow.
which is amazing. I have another child as well now. She'll be 14 next month, my daughter. So very thankful for the support I have. I would say that is one of the main things is if you're feeling any way is to find support with anybody who helps you feel better, who gives you a crutch to help get you there, that just gives you a hug or opens an ear. It's very important to have a support system around you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And in your transition of like that part where you just started going to the gym, you couldn't look at anybody in the eye. What how did you get past these roadblocks? Like what were some of the things that you kind of were like fears, and then how did you manage that just for anyone out there that's like stuck in this,
Good
because yeah.
question. I think we complicate things too much in our own heads. I really do. I think keeping it so simple is the way to go. Like literally wake up and brush your teeth and wash your face. And I got that done and I won that. And then you go and make your bed and I won that. And now my bed looks pretty and there's a win, right? Like literally keeping it so simple. The phone rings, I can answer that. One, two, three, just do it, right? And literally those simple things. And those simple things are like putting one block at a time down for a foundation of a building. And each time you put a block down, you're making that foundation stronger, right? And you're building upon it. So those little tiny wins can build up into huge wins where you're now dressed and you're put together instead of in sweats covered in food for 3 days,
Yep.
right? And now you feel like you can actually go outside. And if somebody looks at you, you're not going to hide, right?
Right.
So there's a win. You went outside and you went to the store, right? So those little, seriously, it sounds funny sometimes if you've never been in that place, but it can be so hard just to go out and get groceries. Right? So keeping it so simple, wherever you feel your roadblock is. For me at the time when I was really bad, it was literally just getting dressed and taking care of myself. So once I did that and felt, okay, now I feel better. Once you feel better, you realize, okay, I like that feeling. I want to do something else to make myself feel better. Right? So you keep building those foundations, and it just kind of almost naturally happens as long as you're consistent.
Mhm.
That's huge. Consistent. Same with exercise. I tell everybody the same thing. Go in, have a shitty 15-minute workout. It doesn't matter. You are consistent. You went there, you won. It doesn't matter.
It's funny the mindset around that too, right? Because I often hear, and you probably hear it all the time, well, I'll wait till a certain point to come back. I'll wait
Mhm.
till the certain perfect like scenario where I'll go to the
Oh,
gym or
yeah.
I'll do this
After my
thing.
vacation, or I got to wait till Monday, or after my kid's birthday party because there's going to be cake. Nope. It doesn't matter. Just go. Just literally pick yourself up and go. It's the only way you're going to get it done. The hardest part is just getting out our door, right? So get up, get dressed, wash your face, make your stuff, get out your door. Once you get out your door, that's the hardest part, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
totally fair. No, that's awesome. And in like when you started getting into kind of like, okay, this is my passion, this is what I want to do, like how did that direct you towards? Because you also do bikini competitions, like you did a lot around fit, like nutrition, you've got mental health first aid, like how did that all come about? Like,
I know bodybuilding seems such a far off branch from where I started, right? Um, yeah, so once I get into fitness, I get into personal training and teaching group classes. That's where I met you,
yes.
which is so fun, so full of energy. I absolutely love it. And I was literally just plugging on, being super happy, just doing my thing. And somebody came to me one day and goes, you could do a bodybuilding competition. I went, what's that? No idea. Um, so they said, well, it's bodybuilding competition, blah, blah, blah. You just go on stage and you show off your hard work. And I'm like, that is terrifying. I think I should do that. It sounds so scary. Because at the time, and then I was about, now I've conquered this. What am I going to conquer next? What else is scary? How else can I grow? And that was terrifying. I remember being in high school and going up and just in front of my class and feeling like I was peeing my pants and I was shaking and sweating and cold at the same time, and I'd stumble over my words and I was so anxious. So to get up in front of people in a bathing suit was terrifying. It was a terrifying idea. So I thought, yeah, let's do that. That sounds really scary.
I love it.
So honestly, I was very green. I didn't know anything about it. I did have a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. At the time, nutrition coach was great. He knew his stuff. Personal trainer, not so great. I kind of was put on a bodybuilding program for a boy, and I'm a girl. I kind of want to look like a girl. But again, I didn't know anything about it at the time. So we follow our coaches and we do what we're told. And I went on the stage. I went into a figure competition and I completely bombed. It was horrible. I felt so horrible when I walked off stage. I looked at my pictures and I just went, oh my God. Oh my God, I wish I had known I had to do that on stage. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do.
Oh,
I wasn't told all the things. I probably could have investigated more on my own, but I didn't know. I didn't know. So it was either crawl in a hole and die or redeem myself. So I was going to redeem myself. So I took courses, lessons, seminars. I investigated. I got my nutrition certification and I started coaching myself. I found out that I was in the wrong category. So I transitioned into bikini. I started training myself for the body of a girl instead of a boy.
right.
And then I went back on stage in a couple years and it was really great. I did pretty well. It feels weird to brag. I don't like talking about
No.
good I did, but it was really great. I had a year where in 1 year I did 5 competitions, and I'm just back to back. I got 5 golds, 4 silvers, some bronzes. I won an overall, and I was 40 years old and kicked two 24-year-olds butt
I
on
love it.
stage. So that was pretty cool. And I also saw the gaps in that industry where the coaching could be more, you could just share more so that the people are more prepared and mentally as well, because it was also a very, very much a mental challenge. Once you get to a certain stage and you're super, super lean, you cannot keep that. So coming off of the stage is hard mentally, right? So luckily I had the background and I had all those groups, mental health groups that I went to. I had my mental health training that I personally could fall back on to keep myself strong, but saw where other people struggled after the stage, coming back on the stage, gaining the water back, not seeing their six pack in a week.
Right.
It's hard learning to eat um healthy, not to restrict yourself, right? We should, as a side note, be eating more food than we think. And when we need to lose weight, we got to eat twice as much as what we think.
Isn't
So
that
having a,
funny?
yeah, right. So having a good relationship with food, not thinking food is bad, is very important, right? No food is bad. Food is food, food is fuel. It's all about how you choose to use it. So developing those relationships is what brought me to build my own business. It was originally called Stage Perfect Contest Prep, where I focused on helping people get ready for and get onto the stage, and also after we left the stage, the mental health afterwards, the healthy eating afterwards. So yeah, I love doing that, helping them, do it the right way, not be food deprived, getting the proper workouts for their own bodies, because each person should have a different program because every single body is different. Each person should have a different food plan because every single person is different, right? Each person needs different coaching because each person is so different. So that's where my business was born. And over the years, it's basically evolved to Clover's Training and Nutrition, because I've kind of gone out on my own. I am an independent personal trainer now. I've collaborated to help open Rasa Athletics and Training, which is where I do all my in-person training out of.
Okay.
So my business has kind of evolved from helping people with the stage, um, to encompassing everything that I do.
That,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
some
cool.
people only know me from bodybuilding and don't realize, the background of it. Now that I'm 47, and since I've gone independent, I found myself so busy that I haven't competed myself. Um, but I've been consistently helping other people get to the stage. I love doing it for new people because teaching them all the ropes is very, very fun. Seeing them go from stage one where they know nothing to getting ready to go out on the stage is it was really, really fun. And I really enjoy helping out backstage as well. So now I sponsor the shows, and I'm always backstage helping out the athletes. So I get to help everybody that's back there. I love that. Lately, I've been the one of the last people they see before they go out on the stage, which is so fun. So I get to pump them up, make them smile, help take their nerves off, and make sure they do what they're supposed to do when they get out there. Because that was one of my downfalls my first time back behind the curtain. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Go out on the stage and had no idea. I was so nervous. So I get to help them feel confident going out there and doing their thing.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
how like when you were talking about your first competition, how devastating it was after, and you were like, I'm gonna do this again. Like, what was the road like? What was that point where it was like I could just slink away or I can regroup? Like what was your magic that made you just like that extra push to just continue on to where you are?
I think I think for me, and I guess I've kind of seen a pattern over my life that if I feel like I have a failure, um, I don't know, and maybe this is something else that I should look into, but I feel like it's either die or redeem. You know what I mean? Like, uh, I feel like I don't want to wallow in the failure. I always should learn. I'm big on learning.
Okay.
So I want to learn from it to, if I'm faced with that situation again, know how to deal with it. So I feel like I needed to learn. I didn't have the knowledge I should have had.
Mm.
So I needed to learn. So it was literally just dive into learning to fill the gaps. Um, yeah, I mean, for a week or so, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to look at the pictures and this and that. And it was kind of hard to talk about, you know what I mean? But um, I was right back into, being around people, being back in the gym, and um, which was a good thing because I was kind of forced to talk about it, and then forced to say that no, that wasn't what I wanted it to be,
Mhm.
right? And then, people would ask questions, so it kind of forced me to think, yeah, what am I going to do about it? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just started learning and training, and that's when I really realized too that there's quite a difference between I mean, a workout is a workout, a squat is a squat, a shoulder press is a shoulder press. But programming wise for men and women, it is quite different. Our bodies are quite different. And that's when that really came to light for me. So I really started investigating that more.
Okay.
And I found honing in on my skills just drove my passion. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. And I just kept learning and kept learning. And
That's
that
really
just drove me to keep doing it and I was happy. I'm happy when I learn.
That's awesome. It
Yeah.
sounds like you have very much a growth mindset. I don't know if you've ever heard Carol Dweck talks about fixed versus growth mindset, and that
Yes.
failure is a beautiful thing, and it's like it shouldn't be such a dirty word because
That's right.
yes, our ego will hold us that like we didn't fit, whatever, but
Hmm.
the growth, the beauty of what happens on the other side when you are just like, okay, next thing that sucked, dust myself off.
Right.
Right, right,
You're
and
right.
just and to think about where you are today because of that mindset of just keep reaching and reaching, which I think is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is. And, I tell people that every day, even when it comes to injuries, injuries can be just as hard because you feel like my life is over. I'm never going to do the things I can enjoy again. I'm not going to be able to, do whatever. And it's very detrimental to our mindset. And people, tend to feel like it's such a setback. And I say, you know what? Even though right now it feels like a setback, you are going to learn so much about your body that it's going to actually take you further than you were before you had your injury because you're going to learn so much. You're going to learn how to heal yourself, how to get stronger, how to prevent it,
Mm.
right? So you're going to be better for it in the long run. So yeah, those failures, we should accept them. Even though they're hard, we have to acknowledge them. We have to take the time to be sad. You can't just, you can't bury everything. We
Yeah.
have to take the time to have the feels. We have to take the time to cry and do whatever we need to do. But failure should be a building block for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. Yeah, I know my aunt always calls them the pity parties when I so those moments of just like, oh, I'm having a pity party right now.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when it's done.
Yeah. And I mean, we should take the time as long as we don't wallow in it,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't follow us for days, but just like grieving when we lose somebody, we have to take the time to have the feels. Um, but then we also should be able to over time grow from that, right? In some way, right? Whether it's, holding on to awesome memories and using that to fill our hearts, or, growing with our knowledge, or however, whatever the situation is, just using it to fill ourselves in some way that makes us happy,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And going back to your first aid, like mental health training, and you had mentioned that the preparation and just kind of the aftermath of these competitions. Have you like embedded that into your programming, or did you find that that really blew up for you with regards to the personal training and the ones that you were helping with competitions, like where you had the you had the toolkit yourself?
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times I will I have a list of resources that I pull from if anybody needs help that's outside of my scope of practice that I can send them to. Mental Health Canada is great. And there is a lot of resources out there to help people that we don't realize are there. I do have a bank of resources that I can direct people to if it is, something outside of my scope of practice. Um, I found it really helped, and not only just with bodybuilding. It's funny, it is pretty much an integral part of every single session and every single day of my life because everybody has some kind of struggle. Everybody. So I think it's an integral part of every single hour of my day. Um, it's how you talk to people, it's how you listen to people, and how you don't judge people. Our language is very important, and sometimes we just don't realize what our words are conveying, even though our intentions might be whatever, our words can come across a certain way. So I do find it's more an integral part of just kind of every day. Yeah, so it was a really valuable piece. And there's actually other pieces to that certification that are in my radar in the future too, because it was great. And not just, mental health, but it was also dealt with some mental health conditions like schizophrenia, different things like that, and how to respond in emergency situations if somebody's, having an episode where you can help, just be there for them, calm them down, get the right resources there. So it was really interesting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
sound pretty intense, but it's good like to have that when you have that fear that a situation could happen and then you feel awful that you can't manage it or you don't know what to do, you feel helpless. So I think that's
Yeah.
really
And I mean,
cool
we
that
have
you're
certain coaching education with personal training and all the other things, but definitely not as in depth as a mental health crisis certification. Yeah, so that was yeah, it remains an integral part of my day. It's funny, even people who look like they're so put together and look like they have the perfect body, they still have all these mental health struggles and they struggle with things. And um, sometimes people too, I find a big cloud over people is fit people get judged just as much or more than people who are not fit. And people don't realize the language they use towards fit people, um, which is really funny. So even fit people can have all these mental struggles that they deal with, right? If somebody is almost the way they want to feel and they gain 3 pounds, to an outside person, they're like, you look amazing. But we feel those 3 pounds and it might be really hard on our head, right? So there's a lot of little subtleties that we don't realize. Um, yeah, and I find people are very judgy, and the receptor has a hard time with the judgy people, right? I find that comes into play a lot. It's very funny. I had one person tell me one time I was in the summertime and I had on my tank top and my tight workout pants and my abs were showing. Probably I ran into the drugstore for something for my kids. And she told me she couldn't serve me because of the way I looked. Said, oh my goodness. She goes, I can't bring you in looking like that. And to her, it was a compliment.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what?
To her, she was complimenting me because I looked great. But to me, I was
Right.
like, I know you think that was a compliment, but that didn't sound very kind.
Yeah.
And she was really thrown off. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. But I had to tell her, like, I've had somebody say to me, I was going to run on the treadmill the other day, but you were on the treadmill. I couldn't stand beside you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I looked too good and you can't stand. So you're judging me. You're telling me that you couldn't do something because I was there.
Right. That
So you're,
objectifying
so you're
and
jealous. It's really hard. So, I mean, even though I have my aesthetic the way I want it to, and I'm just in maintenance mode, I get hits like that all the time, and we don't realize those subtleties, and people don't like talking about it. People don't
Okay.
like talking about the person who made the fit person feel bad,
Yeah, because they'll
right?
boohoo them, right? They have everything they want, which would be the perception of like
Yeah. It's fine for
everybody
them
else.
to criticize us, but if we were to criticize somebody who was overweight or had a bad haircut or had bad eyebrows or had thick ankles, oh my gosh, I'm going to get shot in public.
Yeah.
But I can get criticized a lot, and people don't realize that they're criticizing me.
Yeah.
Right? It's funny the intricacies of us humans.
Yeah.
So even little things like that, I get to talk to people about, in our one-on-one sessions, and stuff like that doesn't get talked about in public, right? And a lot of it has to do with mental health.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true. And it's
Mhm.
good that you incorporate that in there because as people are transforming and they're working towards their goals, like it's funny because like any goal, when it actually happens, like when you actually get into the thing, that's when reality kicks in. Like what you think it's going to be versus what it actually is going to be are
Yeah, for
two
sure.
very different things.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I mean,
that's
I've had
really
people tell me I'm too skinny. You shouldn't work out because your sister just passed away. Oh, who are you to tell me I can't work out because my sister passed away? I need this for my head. Get out of my
yeah.
face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People don't realize how they talk to other people. So I find those conversations really engaging. I get to have these conversations with women and with men while we're doing a workout session. And so we're getting their bodies in shape and we're getting their minds in shape. And it's really fun. Some of the conversations we get to have are wild.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But it's cool because that evolution of your mindset, right? And you have such a, like, I remember back in the day when I was doing that functional training, and oh my goodness, I'm like, can I just bottle up your energy, please? You were so motivating and just like challenging, right? Like that, your thought process, how you're working through stuff, like when you hit that wall, right? So I think that's really, really awesome. I don't know how you do it.
Well, honestly, I think exercise and just eating fairly well. I wouldn't say I eat like a queen. I love my O. Henry Reese chocolate bars, and I eat those on a weekly basis. And those, that's plural.
I love it.
Yes, it is. Uh, but yeah, you know, it's so all encompassing. Um, the just by it comes back to the building blocks. By adding exercise, I felt better. And then by eating a little better, I felt better. Being outside, I felt better. Being around people, I felt better. You know what I mean? And the more you do it, the better you feel. And I went from not being able to go for a walk, not having enough energy to take my little toddler for a quarter mile walk down the road, to having so much energy it was bursting through the seams. And it's funny because I didn't even really see that happen. It just sort of happened naturally. That energy just sort of came. And I think people get stuck too. They don't realize how bad they feel. And that's a huge part of how I help people keep consistent. They don't realize how bad they feel. They add a little bit of exercise, they feel a little bit better. They add a little bit of water, they feel a little bit better. They're sleeping a little bit better, they feel better. They eat better, they feel better. And it just keeps on getting better, right? And that's the journey I like to show people.
That's amazing. And it's true. It's that exercise piece is so important. It's like for me personally, it's the one that I've struggled with the most over the years. Like I've been to jujitsu. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, almost a few years. And, I've had breaks and stuff. I've done different workout plans and I've, just accepted that I'm just going to keep trying because when I do get into a routine, like, and I've got two littles and we run other businesses, so it's just chaos. So I've been like you, like not looking for that perfect, just like, let's just do it 15 minutes. Let's just, bring the kids to
The not
jujitsu class
perfect
and
is exactly,
yeah, and
yeah,
let them go
because it'll
crazy.
never be. Yeah, our lives will always throw us curveballs and make us trip. And yeah, it's hard. I mean, even right now, I work in a gym. Sometimes I can be in that gym for 12 to 14 hours a day and have a hard time getting a workout in.
Oh, wow.
Tell me how that's possible. But it is.
I
And
can't.
people will say, no wonder you look like that. You're in a gym all day long. You know how hard it is for me to get an hour workout in that's my own nowadays? It's so hard. I fit them in whenever I can. Sometimes I'm just over in the corner. Okay, triceps. Let's go. All right, now I'm going off and doing something else. You got to fit it in whenever you can, and it can be messy and choppy and piecey. Um, and some people don't know what they like. It doesn't have to be in a gym. You just got to find something you enjoy. You got to keep your body moving, right? Is the main thing. The consistency might not be lifting weights. It might be swimming. It might be yoga. It might be walking. It might be doing a hula hoop. It might be doing anything, right? And trying different things is good too. So I encourage people to try different things. If this isn't right for you, then try something that is right for you because you'll find your thing. And if you're a person who likes to bounce around, then keep bouncing around. Just keep it consistent.
Right.
Just don't stop doing it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
because movement is medicine, right? It is how we evolved as humans was moving. We did not evolve as humans by sitting in a chair, right? We evolved as humans by moving and running and foraging and hunting and all those things. So, for our bodies to keep functioning, we have to keep moving. And it doesn't have to be anything perfect or pretty or structured, it can just be moving.
That's
And
awesome.
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm very fortunate to have my grandmother who is 104, and she,
No way.
yeah, and
Oh,
her
congratulations to Grandma.
I know, right? She's
Shout out.
amazing. And her thought process was if you don't use it, you lose it,
Yes.
you
Yes,
know?
motion is lotion. That's one of my
Yes.
other favorites. I told a doctor, he said that years ago. I said, can I steal that phrase? Motion is lotion. The more we move, the better we feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't realize how stuck we get, right? We get accustomed to our bodies are very adaptable, and that can be a really good thing or a really bad thing because we will adapt to what we do most, right? So if we sit the most, our body will want to sit more. If we move more, our body will want to move more. So we will adapt to whatever we do, right? Our body will even adapt to what we eat. If we are always feeding it crap, it will always want crap, but we won't realize how bad we feel
Hmm.
until we get away from that. They go, oh, I didn't realize I was that bloated, or I didn't realize I could actually poop 3 times a day, not once every 2 days, right?
Totally fair.
Um, so we don't realize how stuck we get. We're so adaptable, but it happens over such a slow period of time that we don't realize it. Just like me gaining my energy, well, right from where I was depressed to where you met me, I didn't even realize I had gained that much energy. It just happened because we're so adaptable. But it can be the opposite way,
Yeah.
right? If we get stuck in a mindset or a pattern, we can just slowly start to go that way and not realize we get there until we're all of a sudden hit with a wall and we're like, oh no, now I really have to do something about it,
Yeah.
right? That's what usually when people come and see me.
Which is awesome. Then you're like, let's get the bill, let's get the change.
Right, right.
That's amazing. And it's true. I know for me, like I had a previous career where stuff shifted within the organization and it wasn't aligned with my values anymore. And it's hard to realize when something's not working and then all of a sudden I'm coming home and decompressing for 3 hours. And then I'm just eating junk and I'm just watching TV and I'm just like the anxiety. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to work. Like it just until
Yeah,
I realized, wow, this really isn't working, and then left to go to university and, and just move on, which is where I met you at that point. It was a big, huge swing, a big life change where it was like, I gotta do something different. I gotta learn something different. And
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's easy for
pretty,
us to get stuck and not realize how stuck we are, right? Until you get away from it a little bit. And then you look back and go, wow, I really was that stuck, right? Um, but that also is a great form of motivation, right? Because then you can go, I was stuck, but now I'm not as stuck. I can see a little bit of light. So let's go towards that. Let's
Yeah.
move in that direction, right?
Yeah, that's true. You had mentioned something earlier too about the when you had started doing the bodybuilding and you d didn't have kind of a plan around as a woman, like versus the male kind of route. So in your personal training, any advice or anything like big differences or subtle differences with regards to like training programs? I know you said individualized, but like teasing out the male versus female, do you notice a big
Yeah, and male versus female. I mean, like I said, a squat's a squat, a chest press is a chest press. We all have to do those. Um, we all have to build that base. There's always a base foundation of exercises, right? We need our squat pattern, our lunge pattern. We need to know how to do our pulls, our presses properly. We need a strong core foundation. We need proper rotation. All those foundations are always the same for men and women. Um, but when it comes to shaping a body, right? I mean, I don't know. You might be able to name one, but I can't name one woman out there that wants to have a thick waist.
fair?
So there's certain exercises that women should avoid so we don't have a thick waist.
Okay.
Okay. Some men don't care. Men want to be strong. Some men want that beach body look, thin waist. So they're doing those, right? So there's that individualization factor. But women don't want thick waists. So if you're always deadlifting to your PR, you're going to build a thick waist. If you're always deadlifting super, super heavy and that's all you do, you're going to build a thick waist.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, our torso does a lot of the support. So if you keep going heavy, 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 that torso is going to grow to support that heaviness, right?
Really?
So my deadlifts, because I want to build a waist, my deadlifts are very slow on the way down. I can do 12, 15 reps of them if I need to. And it has a focus of more glutes and hamstrings. So it's different. It's a little tailored to what I want, right? I was always a very boy figure. I don't have any boobs. And I didn't have much, I had no waist and no butt, very flat. So when I got into a training routine for a boy that just was exaggerated, I'm like, I don't want to look like this.
Right.
Right? Like I don't, I want to be strong. It was never about the scale, number on the scale. It was just how I felt and how I wanted to look and how my clothes felt. But I did not want to look like that. So there are subtle differences, right? We women tend to want that hourglass figure. So there's certain exercises that we should do to create that hourglass figure. If you want a high lifted butt, then there's certain exercises you need to do to have high lifted butt, right? If you want a flat butt, then you need to avoid certain exercises,
Right.
right? Some guys don't want a big booty. They're not going to do certain exercises over and over, right? So it is about, I guess, in the realm of more aesthetics, if you're thinking about how you want to build your muscle structure, how that male versus female comes into play,
So that's so interesting. That's so
right?
cool. I never
Yeah.
even would have thought about that because lately we've been surrounded by women need to lift weights. Like strength
Oh, and
training
we
is
do.
important.
We need to lift
Um,
weights and we need to lift heavy too, right? Especially when we get 30 and over, if we get into that perimenopause, and I mean, I'm right in the throes of it right now, we do need to lift heavy. Um, but that being said, there's so much that comes on that. Like there's a lot of great people out there that are saying these things. Women in older age and in menopause need to lift heavy. And yes, we do, but where's the but in that?
right.
Where's the but? But if you're lifting heavy every single friggin' workout, certain things are going to happen. You know what I mean? Certain muscles like our glutes. If you want to build your glutes, our gluteus medius likes medium weight and lots of reps. So sometimes we're doing 25, 30 reps to build the glute med,
Okay.
right? So the little subtleties of workouts, fascinating to me. That what gets me up in the morning. But I think that's what gets lost in that male versus female training. And I
Hmm.
did learn a lot in the bodybuilding realm that I take into and put in with functional training and mobility and all that stuff as well.
That's awesome. And I like that
Yeah,
because you had said previously, like, individualized plans. I think that's super, super important. I actually
so
just
important.
interviewed a naturopathic doctor, and same thing. She was like, adjunctive therapy is like individualized, like
So
encompassing.
individualized.
And it's so cool
Yeah.
that bodybuilding, those competitions is what really honed in your science around how can I be better as a personal trainer, like with my business and
Yeah, for
made it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for sure. That and dealing with people with injuries and impingements is one of my favorite things to do. People always laugh. They come to me with an injury and I'm like, "Oh, yes." Because I can help you feel better.
Love it.
Right? I'm not going to cure everything. I'm not a doctor. I can't fix everything, but I can help you feel better. I can help probably bring you less discomfort, less pain. And that is one of my favorite things to do. It just gets my mind just reeling. I absolutely love it. And again, the more we learn about those things, right? It's the better off we are. We can teach more. We can bring ourselves to higher levels the more we learn. Um, so yeah, those little intricacies I feel are one of my specialty areas. I'm very good at structure wise building muscles and uh, helping people find um, less pain by strength training, injury prevention, and self myofascial release, which is basically self massage.
Oh,
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, that's one
I
of my
walk
favorite.
I walk around sore all the time.
Right. And you know what? People don't realize how we don't realize how tight we are. And again, that gets worse when we get into that. Again, menopause realm, our hormones change and it actually affects our muscles and our ligaments and our tendons because it changes the hormones that are in our body that are really prevalent when we're pregnant that loosen up our ligaments and tendons. They go away, so things tend to tighten up. So I find that very important part of my personal training. I do train a lot of, a good majority of my clients are women between their 30s and 60s. So it is a very prevalent part of my training, is helping people feel better and just walking around with less pain and tension in their body.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
because
very, very interesting.
it creeps up on you. Like I know even my shoulder, my hip after childbirth, especially after my second, it's so tight all the time. And I know it's like my right side's compensating and then I feel it in the left side is what's happening. It's
Yeah.
such a weird, and then so I've been working on like mobility exercises.
I
Christopher and I are on this little challenge here where we're, 15 minutes a day and through
fantastic.
yeah, yoga
It's
for
so important. So important that movement. Yeah. And that stretching and yeah, and you're right. Like we don't realize that that stuff creeps in, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, now my shoulder hurts. A lot of times, unless we have a fall or a bang or an actual injury that we are clear it happened, most times our pain and tension is related to our muscles and our movement and our daily repetitive activity, right? So a lot of that can be corrected, which is really fun. Yeah. And I'd like to touch on too, we were talking about that individualization of programming. And I find nowadays too that conversations should be had around AI and all the stuff out there because that even though AI is great, there are always holes. And I've seen a couple, and I've tried a couple to create a couple workouts and see how good they were at making a workout through AI. And I'm like, no, no, that's not right. That's not right. So, you know, AI can be great, but in the realm of our bodies and our movement, AI is not right now, it's not going to look at your body and take everything into consideration. All the things, all your movement patterns, all your restrictions, everything that's going on in your body, watch how you do every movement pattern and then create the proper workout for you. right?
That's
So
cool.
all these online things, all the apps that are out there, all the AI, a lot of it is copy and pasted,
Right.
right? And I mean, I know myself, I even paid people years ago for an online nutrition program. And I told them, I don't like mushrooms because of the texture. I don't like this. I don't want this in the plan. And my plan came and it was full of those things. So it was
Oh,
just a copy and paste. I just paid for a photocopy of something.
right.
And I find that is very prevalent right now. And people don't realize that they can get more for their time and more for their money if they actually hire a human to do the work,
Yeah.
right? Or somebody that actually will individualize their plans for them, how they should be individualized.
Hmm.
Because just like the osteo that you interviewed, food is the same. You know, flax is known to help people go to the bathroom. I know people that flax binds them up.
Yeah.
You know, so plans need to be individualized. And I find, you know, online, some of the apps that are out there, and AI is not quite fitting the bill nowadays.
Yeah. No, that's really fair. Because you're with your app, like, how does your app work? Um,
Yeah, so my app it is based on a bone structure of an app that is out there. But I have customized my app. So it is branded to my business. And everything that is in there is programmed by me. So
okay.
every exercise that's in there, I have selected, um, and I have chosen the video for or filmed myself. So a lot
Right.
of videos are actually me doing the exercise or the mobility.
That's cool.
And if I didn't have the time or the capacity to do the videos, I am able to select the exact video that I want so that when I give that person that exercise, they get the proper demo. So everything in that app I structure exactly how I want. There's nothing copy and paste in
That's
there.
cool. And I'm
Yeah,
assuming as you build out their plan, then they know when they go to the app, like, this is the stuff that I'm doing. Here's
yeah,
my plan, kind of thing, and
exactly. Yeah.
follow
So it's
along.
all customized to them. So I always do an analysis, a consultation. We always get all their information, background histories, successes, fails, all those things, and everything is built for that person in their area, in their situation. So they might be in their living room with just a mat and a band. They might be in a full gym with equipment. You know, so it's also customized to them and what they're doing in their area. Yeah,
Do you find that you're like, because obviously you're local, like you have a space where you physically see people, but are you finding because of that now that you're like virtual with like people farther out and building these plans for them? You noticing a
I've
shift there?
actually I've actually chosen to keep it fairly local.
Okay.
I have actually chosen not to advertise too far outside right now, and mainly because I'm just so busy. There's only
Fair.
one of me. um, a lot of the people I do help on my app. I mean, I have had people in Quebec, Nova Scotia, and you know, outside of New Brunswick. But I mean, you might even notice online, I don't do a lot of advertising. I don't do a lot of posting or anything like that. I don't like social media. I don't like being on there. I don't like
Totally fair.
scrolling. It's bad for our mental health. Neon sign, bad for our mental health, scrolling. So I don't like being on there. I don't like advertising. A lot of my clients come from word of mouth because of their success stories. They tell their friends, their family, and their coworkers, and that's how my people come to me. I have a consistent flow of people just because of word of mouth.
I love it.
And I'm so busy that I choose not really to advertise outside.
But
Yeah.
that's awesome though, because you know what brings you passion, you know what's going to be sustainable. So in
Mhm.
your community, this is where you want to have your impact on. And I think that's amazing. Not everyone needs to be this like globally recognized, like same with me. I don't like social media all that much. I'm not really on Facebook. I just have the Instagram page. And even that, I'm like, okay, got to manage this time on here because it does take away from your joy and your mental health and stuff. So
It
it's
does.
it's
It's just like a succubus. It just as soon as you get on there, you know, I mean, I still do it daily. Go on your phone with an intent of answering a message from a client, and then you see the other icon or the other message that, and then 20 minutes later,
Yep.
You're like, what was I doing? That I can't handle that. And I am still a part of uh, Mental Health Commission of Canada. I get their emails and their statistics, and I do follow the statistics. It's super, super scary. Since COVID, you know, everybody hates hearing that term, since COVID,
I
but
know.
it's been detrimental to people's mental health and their well-being and their physical state. The way things have trended since then is scary, 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 scary. And, movement and eating well and mental health are a huge part of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know. I was facilitating a class for adults when I first started with the nonprofit group that I work for, and I've since switched over to the youth. And I did a huge presentation with them on like the no phones and what it's doing, because I'm going to be eventually taking them away, creating a phone hotel in the classroom so that it's parked in a way so they can be present. And I just, the balls of anxiety that they all are like, they can't get through an hour with me without like, you know what I mean? That just that, and I know, I mean, I'm slowly addicted to my phone to a certain degree. Like you kind of go, oh, what time it is? What time is it? And I go scrolling on some app, and then I put my phone down. I'm like, I still don't know what time it is, right? So it's, and then the competition, the connection, the inability to just like be in your body, be
Hmm.
present, looking around, talking to people, looking people in the eye. So
Right.
yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. So it's awesome that you have that kind of boundary for yourself, and then obviously that your energy that way and kind of like you promoting that probably rubs off on your clientele too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really find that if I get into that world, that it's a hit on my mental health. And it may be, I've wrestled even with the fact that it may be a hit to, my presence out there in the world. But when it comes down to it, my mental health and my happiness is that matters the most because, like I preach to every one of my clients, we can't take care of everything we need to take care of and all the people we need to take care of and love if we don't take care of ourselves first. And that is not selfish. That is self-preservation.
Yes, agreed. It's true. There's so many people around walking out there with an empty cup, and they're just, like, what are you doing? You're like the burnout, and then all the health issues come in, right? The mental health, the physical health, like, and people just get depleted. I
Yeah,
watched
for
it in
sure.
my
Especially
last job.
women and caregivers, right? We just want to help. And I've been in that too, where I've got burnout because I want to help so many people that I'm not taking care of myself, and I've had to pull back and go, okay, you got to get back to your workouts. You got to drink your water again. You got to take your you got to take your vitamins. You got to you got to sleep, Tara. You got to get to bed at a decent time because if I don't take care of myself, I start to fall apart. But caregivers, we tend to give, and giving makes us happy. So it's hard to pull back sometimes on that because it does make us happy, but we don't realize that slow landslide that we have ourselves on because we're giving so much to other people,
Yeah.
right?
It's
Yeah, so self-preservation is not selfish. We that is the most loving thing we can do for other people is take care of ourselves so we can take care of them, right?
I love it. I love hearing this. It's like I also interviewed another club owner, and that she also runs her own like spinal energetics and Reiki, like her own business and wellness. And same thing, it's that self-preservation, it's that self-care. Another breathwork coach as well that I've interviewed, it's same thing. It's that you need to deal with the stuff inside of yourself so that you can then reach out and give back and be amazing at what you do, right?
Yeah, we're the best versions of ourselves when we take care of ourselves, for sure, right? But again, it's a slippery slope, and humans are not perfect, and you might have one good day and one bad day. Will never be perfect. And we have to be accepting of the gray areas in our lives. I talk about that a lot with my clients too. Humans are very easy. It's easy to black and white everything, right? I had a good meal. I had a bad meal. I had a good day. I had a bad day. I had a good workout. I had a bad workout. Stop with those labels, live in the gray. It's okay. It's
I like that.
okay to be, I'm not sure. I did my things today.
Yeah.
Yay.
There were
That's
parts.
okay,
Yeah.
right? It's okay to live in that gray sometimes and not be so perfect,
Yeah.
right?
That's no, that's as I get older, into my 40s now, and there is so much more gray, and I see that. And it, like you said, it's today wasn't a bad day. There was a few moments that I didn't particularly like, but there wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't all just crap.
Yeah, it's important to count our wins because I mean, humans are so easily drawn to the negative. It's so easy to see the things we don't like. It's harder to take inventory on the things that went well and that we did like, right? For some reason. Who knows?
Um,
But humans tend to lean that way, right? It's harder to focus on the positive. But the more you focus on the positive, the more you surround yourself with positive people, positive energy, it just tends to snowball the positive,
yeah.
right? It's the same when you surround yourself with anything negative, that negative will snowball and we won't realize it.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's love those epiphanies and like finding the right people to help support, which I love that you are one of those supports, that kind of light in all of this noise in the world. So it's awesome that what community that you've built.
Thank you. I do. I'm proud of I'm proud of what I've been able to do. I have overcome a lot of struggles, but I'm more proud of how I can help other people do the same, the countless people that feel better and have gone on to do great things and improve themselves even more and go with other people and do other things and get stronger and there's no better thing than, and I just told a client this the other day, Carolyn, I hope you're listening, she out trained her trainer, she lifted more than I did, and I'm like, yes, that's what I want, right? It's I always want people to rise above, and that's my most favorite thing. If I can help people do that,
Good.
that just gets me up in the morning.
That's amazing. Yeah, you definitely your energy, you definitely embody that supportive environment, that growth mindset that I think it's just beautiful.
Thank you. I'm very fortunate. I feel fortunate every day to be able to do what I'm able to do, and that I found my passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fortunate. I encourage everybody to keep searching until you find your passion, even if that's just dancing on your lawn or digging in the dirt or whatever it is, right? It doesn't have to be a career choice. As long as
Mhm.
we have some sort of happiness and grounding in our lives, that's so important.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate connecting with you. It's awesome. Love watching your stories and seeing yourself grow too. It's amazing. So,
Oh, thank you
thank
so
you.
much. I'm very happy to connect with you and to be able to share. I hope that some of our words resonate with women out there, and it can give people hope who if they feel like they don't have hope, that there is some hope out there or a path, or that there's at least somebody who feels the same as
Yes.
they do.
Yeah,
Right?
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Keep doing your amazing work.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you as well. It's fantastic.
This is me facing my fear. I started this podcast a couple years ago with a partner, and moving through it and just kind of evolving and just wanting to connect the dots with women because I noticed there was just such a gap. I got into jiu-jitsu, got very excited, and was listening to a lot of male jiu-jitsu podcasts. And then that since evolved with, I just want to connect with women, like wellness space, spiritual space, like, athletic space, like just all of it, because it all matters. And there's so many wonderful, beautiful women out there that are doing amazing things that I just want to like have the voice, like get that out there and just chat. So
Thank you
yeah.
for that because our conversations matter.
Mhm.
We need to keep talking. So
Yes.
thank you for your part.
Yes. And thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Take care.
Bye.